Hello and welcome to Science Night Tales. I am glad you have found this quiet moment to drift. Tonight, we are going to leave the surface behind. We often think of the ocean as waves and beaches, but that is only the thinnest skin of a much deeper world. Most of our planet is hidden in permanent darkness, under pressure that would crush steel. Yet, it is teeming with life. We are going to descend slowly, layer by layer, from the sunlit shallows to the crushing silence of the abyss. We will meet creatures that glow in the dark, ecosystems that feed on chemicals instead of light, and a stillness that has lasted for millions of years. You do not need to hold your breath tonight. You are safe to observe from a distance. You can simply let the weight of the water wash over you. If this perspective helps you find calm in the depths, you are welcome to like or subscribe. For now, let go of the air and let's sink together. Believe it or not, most of our planet is alive in total darkness. The ocean surface feels familiar. Sunlight, waves, blue water stretching to the horizon. It looks open and bright. It looks like most of the ocean, but it isn't. Over 95% of Earth's living space is far below that surface, down where sunlight never reaches, down where the water is almost freezing, down where pressure rises high enough to crush steel, and down where life still exists, quietly, constantly, in ways that don't match anything we see near shore. It sounds like a contradiction, a place built for light and warmth, yet filled with cold, darkness and pressure, and still alive. Strange, right? We tend to think of Earth as a surface world. Forests, deserts, cities, clouds, mountains. All the things we walk on or fly through. But that surface is thin. Thinner than most people realize. Beneath it, the ocean holds the largest habitat on the planet. By far. More volume than all land and air combined. And most of it has never been seen by human eyes. Not once, not even close. The deepest parts are nearly 11 kilometers down. That's almost 7 miles. Straight down into water. If you dropped Mount Everest into the deepest trench, its peak would still be underwater. And yet, when you stand at the beach, none of that is visible. The surface hides almost everything. That's the paradox. The most familiar place on Earth and the least known. The sun warms the top few meters. Waves move. Light dances. Fish pass beneath boats. It feels alive in an obvious way. But below that bright skin, the ocean changes fast. Within a few hundred meters, light fades, colors disappear, sound softens, pressure builds, and then darkness, permanent darkness. It starts much shallower than most people think. By about 200 meters down, sunlight is almost gone. Photosynthesis stops. Plants can't grow. The water turns deep blue, then black. And still, life continues. Life that doesn't rely on sunlight at all. Life that grows slowly, moves slowly, conserves energy, waits. Some of these creatures live longer than humans. Some live without ever seeing light. Some depend on chemical energy leaking from the sea floor. Some survive on scraps drifting down from far above. Marine snow, they call it. tiny bits of organic matter, dead plankton, dust, fecal pellets, all falling slowly from the surface. A constant, silent rain. It takes days, sometimes weeks, to reach the bottom. And when it does, something is always waiting. Down there, water temperatures hover just above freezing, around 2 degrees Celsius, about 35 degrees Fahrenheit. The pressure is enormous. At 1,000 meters deep, it's 100 times higher than at the surface. At the deepest trenches, it's over 1,000 times higher. That kind of pressure would crush an unprotected human body instantly. Yet, soft-bodied creatures live there. Delicate jellyfish, thin-skinned fish, transparent animals. They don't resist the pressure, they match it. Their bodies contain no empty air spaces. Their chemistry works differently. Their proteins are shaped to function under crushing force. Nothing about them fits surface expectations, and yet they function, calmly, continuously. The deep ocean isn't chaotic, it isn't violent, it isn't rushing. It's slow, still, quiet. The temperature barely changes across vast distances. The darkness never lifts. Currents move gently. Sediment drifts down. Time feels stretched. Some parts of the deep seafloor haven't changed in millions of years. That's not a figure of speech. The same water masses, the same cold, the same silence. Life persists there anyway. We often imagine life as something that needs sunlight, warmth, green plants, fresh air. But most of Earth's biosphere doesn't work like that at all. It runs in the dark, powered by falling debris, or by chemical reactions, or by slow, patient metabolism. Entire ecosystems exist around cold seeps, places where methane or hydrogen sulfide leaks out of the seafloor. No sunlight, no photosynthesis. Bacteria use chemical energy instead. Worms grow around those bacteria. Clams cluster nearby. Crabs wander through. A complete food web, built without light. Some of these communities may resemble Earth's earliest life, back when there was no oxygen, no plants, no surface animals. Life started in darkness, and it never really left. Even now, most of it still lives there, hidden beneath kilometers of water, out of sight, out of mind. When we look at maps of Earth, we see continents and countries. We see borders, cities, roads. We rarely see depth. We rarely think about volume. We forget that the ocean isn't just a surface, it's a three-dimensional world, a vertical world, layer after layer, zone after zone, each with its own rules, its own temperature, its own light, its own kind of life. You could fit every land animal on Earth into the deep ocean's living space many times over. It's that large. And yet, more than 80% of it has never been directly explored. Not with cameras, not with submersibles, not by humans. We know it's there. We know it's alive. We know it's immense. But we don't know most of what actually lives there. New species are still being discovered on almost every deep-sea expedition. Creatures with no common names. Creatures with shapes that don't look real. Creatures that glow, or stretch, or swallow prey larger than themselves. And that's just the parts we've visited. Most of the deep ocean remains unvisited, unseen, unrecorded. It's the largest unknown on our own planet. Closer than space and far less explored. There's something quietly unsettling about that, and something quietly calming too. The idea that beneath all our noise, our cities, our wars, our schedules, there is a vast, steady, dark world that just keeps going. Unbothered, unaffected, cold, silent, enduring. The ocean doesn't speed up. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't react to human history. It simply continues. The same slow currents, the same deep layers, the same pressure, the same darkness for millions of years. And long after we're gone, it will still be there, still dark, still cold, still full of life. That contrast is what makes it feel strange and comforting. A place that feels hostile and yet stable. A place that feels empty and yet full. A place that feels unreachable and yet right beneath us. You don't need to imagine some distant alien world. It's here. Under the water you already know. Under the waves you've already seen. Under the beaches people walk on every day. Most of Earth's living space is hidden from light, from sight, from thought. And that hidden world is more constant than the surface ever was. Surface conditions change quickly. Weather, seasons, climate, human activity. The deep ocean barely notices. Its temperature stays nearly the same. Its darkness never lifts. Its pressure never eases. It's one of the most stable environments on Earth, and yet it supports an enormous amount of life. Slow life, quiet life, patient life. Life that doesn't rush. Life that doesn't need sunlight. Life that doesn't know what a day is. Down there is no sunrise, no sunset, no blue sky, no moon, no stars. Just water, darkness, cold, pressure, and movement so slow it almost feels still. It's easy to forget this world exists. It's easy to think of the ocean as just the surface. But the surface is only the thinnest skin. Everything below it is the real ocean. Layered, deep, vast, unbroken. And right now, it's there. Beneath the ships, beneath the waves, beneath the storms, beneath the sunlight. Waiting. Not for us, just existing. Whether we pay attention or not, whether we explore it or not, whether we remember it or not. And maybe that's what makes it feel so strange and so peaceful. A world that doesn't need us. A world that continues without interruption. A world that holds most of the planet's life, in silence, in darkness, in cold. Right now, as you listen, all of it is still there. Layer after layer, zone after zone, depth after depth, quietly holding on. If you let your attention soften for a moment, if you let your thoughts slow down just a little, you can imagine that descent beginning, not suddenly, not quickly, just a gentle downward drift. The sunlight still around you, the surface still visible above, the water slowly cooling, the brightness slowly dimming. the colors slowly fading. As you begin to drift below the sunlight, the water is still bright here. Sunlight pours down from above in wide, trembling beams, breaking into soft ribbons as they pass through the moving surface. The waves overhead roll and lift, and each ripple bends the light into shifting patterns that slide slowly across your view. Everything feels open. Everything feels alive in an obvious way. The water is warm against your skin, just a little cooler than the air above, holding the day's heat as if it doesn't want to let it go yet. You can still hear the surface, the gentle slap of small waves, the distant hush of wind, the faint, muffled rhythm of the world above. As you drift a little deeper, those sounds begin to soften. Not suddenly, just gradually, as if someone is slowly turning down a dial. Sunlight still fills the water, but it's no longer blinding. It filters through in wide sheets of pale gold, lighting up tiny particles that float past like dust motes in a quiet room. Each one drifts slowly, unhurried, unconcerned. This upper layer of the ocean is where most of the familiar life exists. It's where light is strong enough for plants to grow, and that light feeds everything else. Phytoplankton live here, microscopic organisms, so small you could fit millions of them in a single drop of water. They float near the surface, soaking in sunlight, and quietly, constantly, they produce oxygen. More than half of all the oxygen you breathe comes from these tiny drifting forms of life. Not forests, not jungles, not trees. The open ocean, right here. As you drift through this layer, you're passing through one of Earth's largest oxygen factories. It doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't look busy. It just looks calm, and it never stops working. Below you, the water shifts from pale blue to a slightly deeper shade. The light is still strong, but it's no longer white. It's turning soft blue, gentle turquoise, a cool, filtered glow. You move past the edge of a coral reef. Its shapes are solid and quiet. Branching structures, rounded domes, flat plates, all built slowly by tiny animals that live inside hard skeletons. Some of these coral colonies are hundreds of years old. They grow just a few millimeters a year, yet they form vast underwater cities, home to thousands of species. Small fish dart in and out of crevices. Bright stripes, flashes of yellow, soft silver scales catching the light. They move in loose groups, turning together without touching, as if sharing the same thought. The colors are vivid here. Electric blues, deep reds, warm oranges. Sunlight still reaches everything, still fuels everything, still makes this part of the ocean feel almost like another version of the surface world. Above, below, and all around, schools of fish drift past. They move as a single shape, a living cloud. Their bodies tilt at the same angle. Their tails flick at the same rhythm. They aren't rushing. They aren't hunting. They're just moving, together, in slow, steady patterns. A sea turtle glides by. Its shell is dark and smooth. Its flippers move in slow, wide strokes. It barely seems to work at swimming. It's been doing this for decades. Sea turtles can live for over 100 years, and during that time, they make long migrations, thousands of kilometers, between feeding grounds and nesting beaches. But here, In this shallow zone, some turtles stay close to familiar areas, drifting, resting, rising for air, then sinking back into the light. Seasonal algal blooms spread across parts of the surface. From above, they look like green or turquoise swirls. From here, they look like soft, cloudy veils. They appear when nutrients rise from deeper water and when sunlight is strong enough. They fade away again just as quietly. They don't announce themselves. They don't linger. They bloom. They feed countless tiny animals, and then they dissolve back into the background. Everything in this layer feels temporary, fluid, always in motion, always changing, but never in a hurry. The light continues to soften. It's still bright, still warm, but less sharp. The golden tones fade. The blues deepen. The water becomes cooler. Not cold, just noticeably different. Your skin can feel it now. The gentle loss of warmth. The slow embrace of something quieter. In the distance, a low sound drifts through the water. Long, slow, deep. It isn't loud. It isn't sudden. It feels more like a vibration than a sound. A humpback whale song. These songs can travel hundreds of kilometers through the ocean. Each note lasts for seconds, sometimes minutes. The whales repeat the same patterns again and again. And over time, those patterns change. Entire populations slowly shift their songs together. No one fully understands why. But here, you don't need to understand it. You just hear it. Faint, distant, calm. The sound passes through you, then fades. The surface feels farther away now, not in distance, in feeling. The brightness overhead is still visible, but it no longer feels close. The water around you is more still. The tiny floating particles are more noticeable. Each one sinks at its own pace. Some barely move at all. Others drift downwards so slowly it's hard to tell they're moving. The colours around you soften. The sharp reds and yellows dull first. They fade into muted tones. The blues and greens remain. They linger longer. They travel farther. That's how light works in water. Longer wavelengths vanish first, shorter ones survive, and so the world gradually turns blue. As you drift deeper into this upper sunlight zone, everything feels calmer. The sounds are fainter, the movements slower, the light less intense. There's no clear boundary, no sudden change, just a gentle transition. A gradual shift from surface brightness to something quieter. The pressure is still gentle here. You wouldn't notice it yet, not unless you were measuring it. But it's already increasing, just slightly. Just enough to remind the body that it's moving into a deeper place. The surface world is still above you, still close enough to feel real, still close enough to reach. But it's beginning to feel distant, not in space, in attention. Your focus settles into the water around you, into the steady, slow drift, into the soft fading of sound, into the subtle cooling of temperature. This layer continues for a while, full of light, full of life, full of gentle motion. And then, almost without noticing, the brightness weakens, the blues deepen, and as you pass 50 meters, the colors begin to shift toward a deeper blue. The light is still here, but it isn't the same light anymore. It no longer falls in warm sheets of gold. It comes down in cooler tones now, soft blue, pale turquoise, a gentler brightness that feels thinner, more distant, as if it's traveling a longer way to reach you. As you drift deeper into this mid-sunlight zone, the surface fades into a shimmering ceiling far above. You can still see it, but it no longer feels close. The water carries a slow, steady current. Not a push, just a quiet movement. It slides past your skin and carries tiny particles along with it, each one turning slowly, each one sinking at its own pace. The temperature drops another small step. Not cold yet, just cooler, noticeably cooler. Your body registers the change without any sense of urgency. The ocean here feels larger, wider, more open. Tall forests of kelp rise from the seafloor below, long, ribbon-like strands reaching upward toward the light. Some of these kelp grow astonishingly fast, up to 1/2 meter in a single day, faster than bamboo, faster than almost any land plant. They sway gently with the current, each blade bending, unbending, moving in slow, synchronized arcs. Small fish shelter among the kelp. They hover near the fronds. They dart out, then drift back in, using the tall strands as both hiding places and highways. From a distance, the kelp forest looks like a slow underwater meadow. Quiet, steady, endless. The light filters through the kelp leaves and breaks into thin lines, blue and green threads that slide across the water and fade again. Everything feels softer here, muted, less sharp than before. Far above, a large shape passes through the light. A hammerhead shark. Its wide, flat head cuts a clean silhouette against the pale blue glow. It moves without hurry. Its body barely bends as it swims. Each slow sweep of its tail carries it forward with quiet confidence. Hammerhead sharks can sense tiny electrical signals given off by other animals, even the faint heartbeat of a hidden fish. Here, it isn't hunting. It's just passing through, gliding, unconcerned. Then it fades into the blue distance. A school of tuna moves through the open water. Long, sleek bodies, metallic silver, dark blue backs. They don't slow down. They don't stop. They are built for constant motion. Some tuna species migrate thousands of kilometers every year, crossing entire oceans, following temperature changes, following currents, following food. Here, in this zone, they pass like a quiet river of muscle and motion, always moving forward, always heading somewhere beyond sight. An octopus rests against a rock below. At first, you don't notice it at all. Its skin matches the texture and color of the stone. Gray, speckled, rough. Then it shifts just slightly, and suddenly the outline becomes visible. Its skin changes color in seconds, from gray to soft brown, from smooth to bumpy, from still to subtly alive. Octopuses can control millions of pigment cells in their skin. They can become nearly invisible. They can mimic rocks, coral, sand, even other animals. Here, it doesn't flee. It doesn't rush. It simply adjusts and becomes part of the background again. More fast-growing seaweed drifts in loose clusters. Long green ribbons, thin brown fronds. They grow quickly in these light, rich waters. They rise toward the surface, then break free. then float away, carried by currents, feeding small creatures as they decompose, recycling nutrients back into the system. Nothing here is wasted. Everything eventually becomes food for something else. Above you, a small group of dolphins moves together. Their bodies curve in gentle arcs. They surface somewhere far away, then dive again. Here, they travel as a unit, staying close, turning together. Dolphins hunt in groups. They coordinate their movements. They surround schools of fish. They take turns feeding. They communicate constantly with clicks and whistles. But now they aren't hunting. They're simply moving through, curious, alert, calm. They disappear into the soft blue light. The water continues to darken, not dramatically, just steadily. The reds and oranges are gone now. The yellows have faded. Only blues and greens remain. Blue light travels farthest in water. That's why the ocean turns blue as you go deeper. It's not adding blue, it's losing everything else. The sunlight is still present, but it's thinner, more scattered. It doesn't form clear beams anymore. It forms a soft glow, a gentle haze. The currents carry more particles now, tiny drifting flecks, bits of organic matter, fragments of shells, microscopic life, all slowly falling, all part of the endless exchange between surface and depth. Your skin feels the temperature change again, another small step cooler. The water presses slightly more firmly around you. The pressure is still mild, still gentle, but it's there, quietly increasing. The sense of openness grows. The sea floor feels farther away. The surface feels farther away. You're suspended between them, in a wide blue space. The sounds are quieter now. The surface noise has almost completely faded. What remains is a deep, distant hush, the slow movement of water, the faint, low sounds of distant animals. Everything feels slower, more deliberate. Nothing rushes, nothing startles. This part of the ocean still feels familiar, still friendly, still close enough to the surface to feel connected to the world above. But it's also beginning to feel different, less bright, less warm, less crowded. The living things here are larger, more spread out, more solitary. The light continues to weaken. The blues deepen. The greens soften. The glow above you becomes more distant, like twilight in the sky. Not night yet, but no longer day. As you drift deeper through this mid-sunlight zone, your attention settles into the rhythm of descent. The gentle downward motion, the soft currents, the steady cooling, the slow dimming of light. There's no sharp boundary, no clear moment when one zone ends and another begins, just a gradual transition, a smooth change from one state into the next. The ocean is still bright enough here to feel alive in a familiar way. Plants still grow. Animals still hunt with their eyes. Colours still exist. But that familiarity is thinning, stretching, fading. The surface world feels farther away now, not because of distance, because of focus. Your mind settles into the water around you, into the blue, into the quiet, into the steady downward drift. And ahead, the light continues to fade. The blue continues to deepen.
and you find yourself drifting toward 200 meters, where the sunlight begins to disappear.
The light changes here. It doesn't disappear all at once. It thins into something faint and uncertain. A dim blue glow that feels more like a memory than a presence. You've crossed into the Twilight Zone now, a place where sunlight barely reaches, where day and night no longer exist, where brightness fades into something softer and stranger. The water grows colder again, not suddenly, just enough to notice. Your skin feels the steady cooling, the quiet tightening of the water around you. The pressure increases another small step, still gentle, still calm, but constant. The surface world feels far away now, not because of distance, because of darkness. The glow above you is weak, scattered, diluted. It no longer lights up the water. It only hints at where the surface might be. The silence deepens. The sounds of waves are gone. The faint noises of distant animals are rarer. What remains is a low, steady hush. The slow movement of water. The soft fall of particles. Marine snow continues to drift past you, more visible now, more constant. Tiny flecks falling through the dim blue, each one turning slowly, each one sinking into the darkness below. And then, a faint point of light appears, just a pinprick, soft, pale. It flickers once, then steadies. A lanternfish. Its body is small, its shape simple, but along its sides, tiny light-producing organs glow. These lights are called photophores. The fish uses them to match the faint glow from above. It's called counter-illumination. By glowing just enough, the lanternfish erases its own shadow. Predators below can't see its silhouette. Predators above can't see its outline. It becomes almost invisible. Here, the light isn't for attracting attention. It's for hiding. The lanternfish drifts past you, its tiny lights glowing softly, then fading into the blue. Another faint glow appears, then another, then another. Small points of light scattered through the water, each one marking a living thing. Most animals here can produce light. Not bright flashes, not dramatic bursts, just soft glows, faint pulses, gentle flickers. The darkness is no longer empty. It's lightly speckled, like a quiet night sky underwater. A jellyfish floats nearby. Its bell is almost transparent. Its edges glow with a soft blue ring. Each slow contraction sends a ripple through its body. The glow brightens slightly, then dims again. Jellyfish don't have brains. They don't think. They don't plan. They just move and glow and drift. Their light may confuse predators. It may attract prey. It may simply be a byproduct of their chemistry. Here, it doesn't matter why. It only matters that light exists where light shouldn't be. The temperature drops again, more noticeably this time. The water feels cold now. Not uncomfortable, just steady, just present. The kind of cold that doesn't shock. It simply settles in. The pressure increases again. Another quiet step. Your body registers it. Your mind relaxes into it. This zone is vast, It wraps around the entire planet. It holds an enormous amount of life, more than the surface ocean, more than most people realize. Every evening, as the sun sets above the surface, something extraordinary happens here. Trillions of animals begin to move. They rise, slowly, steadily, from these depths toward the surface. It's called the daily vertical migration, the largest animal migration on Earth. Not across land, not across oceans, straight up and down. Small fish, crustaceans, squid, jellyfish, they all rise at night to feed near the surface, then sink back down before sunrise. They do this every single day, without rest, without interruption. They move through hundreds of meters of water twice a day for their entire lives. Here, you are in the middle of that hidden highway. Right now, some animals are rising past you, others are sinking. Their movements are slow, almost gentle. A squid drifts nearby. Its body is long and smooth. Its fins ripple softly. Along its sides, tiny light organs glow. Photophores, just like the lanternfish. The squid can control them, brighten them, dim them, arrange them in patterns. It uses light to camouflage itself, to match the glow from above, to erase its shadow. It becomes a moving absence, visible only if you're very close. Then it turns and vanishes. The faint glows around you feel more numerous now, not crowded, just present, scattered, uneven. Some pulse softly, some remain steady, some flicker once and go dark. Each one marks a living thing, moving slowly through cold water, in silence. The surface glow weakens further. The blue haze above you dims. The darkness below you deepens. The water feels heavier, not oppressive, just more complete. It holds you from all sides. The currents are slower here, smoother, more deliberate. They carry particles past you. Marine snow continues to fall. Tiny bits of life from the surface, food for the darkness. This zone feels like a boundary, not a sharp one, a gradual one, between a world lit by the sun and a world lit by life itself. The first true strangeness of the ocean appears here. Light without sunlight, movement without noise, life without warmth. The glows around you create a soft, scattered pattern, not bright enough to light anything, just enough to remind you that you're not alone, that the darkness is full, not empty. The temperature drops again. Another quiet step. The cold settles deeper. The pressure increases again. Another gentle squeeze. The surface world feels like a distant idea now, not something close, not something relevant. Your attention rests fully in this layer, in this quiet, glowing darkness, in this slow, steady descent. A faint cluster of lights drifts upward past you, rising toward the surface. They are small fish, juveniles, moving together. They rise at night to feed, then sink back down before morning. They've been doing this since they were born. They will keep doing it until they die. A life measured in vertical distance, not horizontal. They pass you, their lights fading into the dim blue above. Another jellyfish glides past, Its glow is softer than before, more subtle. It pulses once, then dims, then pulses again. The darkness feels deeper now. The glows feel more important, more meaningful. The silence grows heavier. The only movement is slow. The only light is faint. The only sound is the quiet drift of water. This zone feels endless. It isn't, but it feels that way. The ocean stretches far below you, far beyond the reach of any sunlight, far beyond anything familiar. But here, in the upper Twilight Zone, there is still a gentle connection to the surface, a faint glow, a distant memory of day, and a growing presence of something new. Light that belongs to the darkness. Light made by life. As you drift deeper, the surface glow continues to fade. The scattered glows become more noticeable, more frequent. The blue haze above dims into something thinner, something weaker. The darkness below grows thicker, more complete. The cold settles in fully now. Not sharp, not harsh, just steady, just constant. Your descent continues, slow, calm, uninterrupted. And as you descend further, the faint glows around you begin to stand out more than the fading light from above. Descending further, where glows become the only light. The glows are all that remain now. The faint blue haze from above has thinned into almost nothing. What light exists here comes from life itself. Small points, soft pulses, gentle flickers, scattered through the darkness. You are in the Mid-Twilight Zone now, where sunlight no longer matters, where vision depends on bioluminescence, where survival depends on invisibility. The water grows colder again. Another quiet step down. The pressure increases again. This time you can feel it more clearly. Not painful, not heavy, just present. A steady, surrounding weight. The darkness feels deeper here, more complete. The silence thicker. The marine snow continues to fall. Tiny flecks drifting past your face, each one sinking slowly into deeper layers. The glows around you feel more isolated now, farther apart, more intentional. A single spark appears ahead, then fades, then reappears. A viperfish. Its body is long and narrow, its mouth wide, its teeth sharp and curved. Too large for its face, too many for its jaw. From the tip of its head, a thin, glowing lure dangles. A small point of light. It flickers gently. The fish holds perfectly still, waiting. In this darkness, light means food. Small animals drift toward the glow, curious, unaware. Then, in a sudden movement, the viperfish snaps forward. Its mouth opens wide, and the light vanishes. The water returns to silence. Another spark appears nearby, then another. Each one marking a hunter, each one floating in place, waiting. The ocean here is full of traps made of light. Below you, a hatchetfish drifts slowly. Its body is thin and flat, shaped like the blade of an axe. Its sides are mirror-like, silvery, reflective. They bounce the faint light from above back down, erasing its shadow, making it almost invisible from below. Predators looking up can't see its outline. Predators looking down can't see its shape. It exists in a narrow visual gap, a moving absence. It passes beneath you, then fades into darkness. The pressure increases again, another subtle tightening. Your ears feel it slightly. Your skin registers it. Your body adjusts. The water here presses in from all sides, holding you in place, not allowing empty space, not allowing expansion. The temperature drops again. Another quiet step. The cold settles deeper. Not shocking, just steady. A soft, constant presence. A faint cluster of lights drifts toward you, then slows, then changes direction. It's a small group of crustaceans. They glow faintly as they move. Their light is not for beauty. It's for communication, for warning, for confusion. Light here is a language, a code, a tool, something used carefully, never wasted. A vampire squid floats nearby. Its body is dark, almost black. Its eyes large. Its arms spread wide. It doesn't look fast. It doesn't look strong. When threatened, it doesn't flee. It releases a cloud of glowing mucus, sticky, bright, full of tiny light particles. The cloud confuses predators. It looks like a living creature. It pulses. It moves. The squid slips away in the darkness, invisible again. Here, light is used to escape, not to be seen. The glows around you pulse softly, then dim, then pulse again. Some are steady, some flicker, some vanish without warning. The darkness swallows them instantly. Red-colored creatures drift past. Their bodies look black here. In this deep water, red light doesn't exist. Red wavelengths are absorbed near the surface, so anything red appears completely dark, invisible. These animals wear darkness as camouflage. They don't glow, they don't reflect. They disappear into the black. Even when they're close, you might pass right by them and never know. The marine snow continues to fall, more slowly now. The particles are fewer, but still constant, still steady, still feeding the deep. The silence feels heavier. The sounds are almost completely gone. The faint noises of distant animals are rare now. What remains is the low hum of water moving, the soft whisper of particles sinking, your own quiet descent. The pressure increases again, another gentle squeeze. Your body adapts. Your breathing feels slower. Your thoughts feel slower. Everything moves at the pace of the deep. A long, faint glow stretches across your view. It isn't a single animal, it's a siphonophore, a colonial organism, made of hundreds of tiny individuals, all connected, all working together. It looks like a glowing ribbon, dozens of meters long, sometimes longer. It drifts slowly, almost motionless. Its tentacles trail behind it, long, thin, nearly invisible. They sting prey that brushes against them, paralyzing it, then pulling it in. This single organism can be longer than a blue whale, and yet it is delicate, fragile, easily broken. It floats past you, its glow steady, then fades into darkness. The glows around you feel more meaningful now, more intentional. Each one either hides or hunts or signals. Nothing here is random. Nothing is wasted. Light is expensive in the deep. It takes energy to make, so it's used carefully, precisely, for survival. The temperature drops again. Another quiet step. The cold settles in fully. The pressure increases again. Another subtle tightening. The water here feels dense, not heavy, just full, complete, holding you in place. The surface world is gone from your awareness. There is no memory of sunlight, no memory of warmth, only this: darkness, cold, silence, and scattered points of light. A faint flash appears below you, then another, then another. A pattern, a message, two animals communicating. You don't know what it means, but it matters to them. The glows pulse, then stop, then vanish. The darkness closes in again. A small fish drifts past, its body transparent, its bones faintly visible, its organs softly outlined. It glows faintly from its belly, matching the glow from above, erasing its shadow. It doesn't look at you, it doesn't react. It simply moves through the water, then disappears. The marine snow continues, always falling, always feeding, always connecting the surface to the deep. The pressure increases again. Another quiet step. The water presses closer. Your skin feels it. Your body adjusts. Your mind relaxes into it. This zone feels endless. It isn't, but it feels that way. The darkness stretches in all directions. The glows are scattered, sparse, isolated, each one marking a living thing, moving slowly, hunting quietly, hiding carefully. The ocean here feels ancient, older than memory, older than thought. It has been this way for millions of years. It will remain this way long after everything else changes. The deep does not rush. It does not react. It does not care. It simply continues. The glows around you pulse one last time, then dim, then fade. The darkness deepens further. The pressure increases again. Another subtle tightening. The temperature drops again. Another quiet step. You drift lower, slower, calmer. The Twilight Zone continues, but something is changing. The glows feel farther apart now, more isolated. The darkness more complete. The faint blue haze from above is completely gone. Only life-made light remains. And ahead, the water grows darker still. The cold grows deeper. The pressure grows heavier. You are approaching 1,000 meters, where all sunlight disappears. The last faint glows of the Twilight Zone drift farther apart now. The scattered sparks that once felt frequent are becoming rare. The darkness between them stretches wider, deeper, more complete. You are in the lower Twilight Zone, the final layer before permanent night. The water feels colder again, a noticeable shift, not sudden, but definite. A deeper chill settles into your skin. The pressure increases again, another gentle tightening. Another quiet reminder that you are moving farther from the surface, farther from light, farther from warmth. The marine snow continues to fall, but even it seems thinner here. The particles are fewer, more spaced out, still drifting downward, still feeding the deep, still connecting worlds that never meet. The glows that remain feel deliberate now, not decorative, not accidental. Each one appears with purpose, then fades, then vanishes. A small red glow flickers below you. It doesn't look red here. It looks dark, almost invisible. Then, suddenly, it flashes again, this time brighter. It's a dragonfish, its body long and narrow, its skin dark, its mouth wide, its teeth sharp and uneven. From beneath its eyes, it emits red light, a color that most deep-sea animals cannot see. To them, this light doesn't exist. To them, the dragonfish is invisible. It uses this hidden light like a private flashlight, scanning the darkness for prey, seeing without being seen. A secret vision system built into its face. The red beam sweeps slowly through the water, then stops, then vanishes. The darkness closes in again. Below you, a strange shape drifts upward. Its head is transparent, completely clear. You can see its eyes inside, two cylindrical tubes pointing straight upward. This is a barrel-eye fish. It looks fragile, almost unreal. Its transparent head protects its eyes and lets them gather faint light from above. The eyes rotate slowly, scanning, searching, tracking the dimmest glows. The fish moves gently, carefully, then slips away into the darkness. The glows around you feel thinner now, more isolated. Long stretches pass with nothing at all, just black water, cold, silent, empty. Then a faint spark appears, then fades. The deep scattering layer reaches its thickest here. Millions of animals, tiny fish, crustaceans, squid, all clustered in a dense band, all migrating upward at night and sinking back down during the day. This invisible layer reflects sonar, confusing ships, mimicking the ocean floor. It is the largest daily migration on Earth, happening every single day, unnoticed, uncelebrated, in total darkness. The temperature drops again, this time more sharply. The cold becomes unmistakable, a deeper chill, a more complete absence of warmth. Your body registers it immediately. Another quiet step down. The pressure increases again. Another gentle squeeze. Your ears feel it slightly. Your chest feels it faintly. Your skin feels it steadily. The water presses closer, holding you, containing you, not allowing empty space, not allowing escape. The glows now feel like distant stars, sparse, isolated, far away, each one marking a single life, moving slowly, hunting quietly, hiding carefully. The vastness between them feels enormous, an empty blue-black expanse, stretching in all directions. The marine snow continues, always falling, always feeding, always connecting. But here, even it feels thin. A faint glow appears above you, then another, then another. A school of small fish, each one glowing faintly from its belly, matching the faint light from above, erasing their shadows. They drift together, then slowly separate, then vanish into darkness. The cold settles deeper, not painful, just steady, just present. The pressure increases again, another subtle tightening. Your breathing feels slower, your thoughts feel slower. Everything feels heavier, calmer, more still. The Twilight Zone is ending. The glows are fewer now, more spaced out, more isolated. The darkness feels thicker, more complete, more permanent. The faint blue haze from above is completely gone. Only life-made light remains, and even that is fading. A final spark pulses below you, then dims, then vanishes. The water grows darker still. The cold grows deeper. The pressure grows heavier. The vast, empty expanse stretches wider. You are drifting toward 1,000 meters now, toward the threshold of permanent night, toward the place where sunlight never reaches, toward the beginning of the Midnight Zone, where darkness becomes the default state and light becomes a rare interruption. The last faint traces of twilight disappear behind you now. There is no blue haze anymore. No gradient, no soft glow from above. Only blackness. Complete, absolute. The upper Midnight Zone begins here, below 1,000 meters. A place where sunlight has never reached. Not once, not ever. The water is colder again, a steady, deep cold. The pressure increases again. Another quiet tightening, another subtle squeeze. Your body registers it without alarm, without urgency, just awareness. The silence feels heavier here, not just quieter, heavier, as if sound itself has been pressed out of the water. There is nothing moving fast, nothing rushing, nothing colliding. Everything drifts. Everything waits. The marine snow continues to form, endlessly. Tiny particles sinking through black water, feeding a world that never sees the sky. A faint glow appears ahead, a small light, then another, then another, each one floating in the darkness. You drift closer. The lights are attached to thin, slow-moving shapes. These are anglerfish. Their bodies are small, their mouths are wide, their teeth long and curved inward. From their heads, a glowing lure extends forward, a living light. It pulses gently, attracting anything that can still see. The light moves slowly. No sudden motions, no wasted energy, just patient waiting. One anglerfish drifts past you. Its body looks almost fragile, soft, delicate, but its mouth could open wide enough to swallow prey larger than itself. In this zone, meals are rare. So when food appears, nothing is wasted. You notice something small attached to the side of a larger anglerfish. A tiny shape, barely visible. This is the male, much smaller than the female, thousands of times smaller. He has fused to her body, becoming part of her. sharing her blood supply, providing sperm when needed. In this darkness, finding a mate is nearly impossible. So evolution solved the problem by making sure they never separate. The anglerfish drifts away, its lure fades into the black. Below you, a long, ribbon-like shape rises slowly. Its mouth opens wide, wider, wider still. This is a gulper eel. Its jaw unhinges, its stomach stretches like a loose bag. It can swallow prey much larger than its own head. It rarely eats, but when it does, it takes everything it can. Then it closes its mouth, its body returns to a thin line, and it sinks back into darkness. A soft shape floats past you, slow, gentle. It has two fins that move like wings. They flap slowly, carefully. This is a Dumbo octopus. Its body is small, its eyes large. Its fins look like ears. It moves without urgency, without speed. It doesn't jet away, it drifts, conserving energy. Every movement here costs something. Everything is measured. Nothing is rushed. The marine snow continues, a slow, steady fall. Particles drift past your face, past your shoulders, past your hands. Each one a piece of the surface. Each one a meal for something below. The pressure increases again. Another subtle squeeze. Your chest feels it. Your ears feel it. Your bones feel it faintly. The water presses in, holding everything in place, not allowing empty space, not allowing sudden motion. Far above you, something massive moves through the darkness. You don't see it, you feel it. A deep, distant vibration, a low-frequency sound, a presence passing overhead. This is a sperm whale, diving thousands of meters deep, holding its breath for more than an hour, searching for squid, using sound instead of sight. Its clicks echo through the water, then fade, then vanish. The darkness returns to stillness. Around you, most of the life you see is gelatinous, soft, transparent, almost invisible. Jellyfish, siphonophores, salps, bodies made mostly of water, low energy, low density, perfect for drifting, perfect for surviving where food is scarce. They move slowly, they glow faintly, then they disappear. The upper midnight zone feels endless, black water stretching in all directions. No landmarks, no reference points, only depth, only pressure, only slow drifting life. The marine snow continues to fall, always falling, always feeding. The darkness feels stable, unchanging, a constant state. You drift deeper, toward 2,000 meters. The pressure increases again, another quiet tightening, another subtle shift. The cold deepens, not sharply, just steadily. The upper midnight zone begins to fade behind you. The mid-midnight zone waits below, where life becomes even slower, even rarer, even more patient. The marine snow thickens slightly here, still sparse, but more visible, more constant, like a slow snowfall, endless, uninterrupted. A strange shape stands motionless on the seafloor below. It doesn't swim, it doesn't drift, it stands, balanced on long, thin fins, like stilts. This is a tripod fish. It faces into the current, waiting, not moving, not chasing, just standing. When prey drifts past, it snaps its mouth shut, then returns to stillness. It can remain like this for hours, days, conserving every bit of energy. The pressure increases again, another gentle squeeze. Your breathing feels slower, your thoughts feel slower. Everything feels heavier, calmer, more still. A small fish drifts past you, its body soft, its skin thin, its bones flexible. This is a snailfish, one of the deepest living vertebrates on Earth, built to survive pressure that would crush most other fish. Its body looks delicate, but it is perfectly adapted to this depth. It moves slowly, then vanishes into the black. Around you, comb jellies drift, transparent, almost invisible. They shimmer faintly as light passes through their bodies. They do not sting, they do not chase, they drift, feeding on tiny particles, on microscopic life. They pulse gently, then fade into darkness. Far below you, something enormous moves. You don't see its body, you see its eyes. Two massive orbs reflecting faint bioluminescence. These are the eyes of a colossal squid, the largest eyes in the animal kingdom,
as large as dinner plates, built to detect the faintest light, the faintest movement, the faintest glow. The squid remains still, watching, waiting, then slowly sinks back into blackness. The marine snow continues, always falling, always feeding. The space between animals feels enormous now. Kilometers of black water between one life and the next. This zone holds vast emptiness and scattered survival. Everything here moves slowly, breathes slowly, grows slowly, lives slowly. Meals are rare, encounters are rare, energy is everything. The pressure increases again, another quiet tightening. Your body feels heavier, your limbs feel slower, your thoughts feel softer. The mid-midnight zone stretches endlessly below you, a place of patience, of endurance, of quiet survival. The marine snow continues to fall, like slow snow in a black winter, endless, uninterrupted. You drift deeper, toward 3,000 meters, toward even darker water, toward a world that has never known light and never needed it. The darkness deepens again as you drift below 3,000 meters. There is no longer any trace of sunlight, no blue, no gradient, no hint of above. Only a vast, open darkness stretching in every direction. At 3,000 meters, the ocean becomes something few human minds can intuit. The pressure here is more than 300 times greater than at the surface. Every square inch of your body would feel the weight of several small cars stacked on top of it. And yet, life is still here. Sparse, isolated, quiet, but unmistakably present. You drift forward through a space so large that even sound seems unwilling to travel. There is no current strong enough to stir the water, only slow, drifting particles. Marine snow continues to fall from above. Tiny flakes of organic debris, fragments of dead plankton, waste from creatures thousands of meters overhead. A slow, endless snowfall feeding this entire invisible world. The emptiness is not empty. It is simply vast. So vast that motion becomes rare. So vast that encounters feel like improbable events. And then, something moves. Out of the darkness, a shape appears. A fish with a face that looks carved from stone. The Fangtooth. Its mouth is lined with teeth too large for its own head. Teeth that cannot even fit inside its mouth when it closes. It looks fierce, aggressive, almost monstrous. And yet, it drifts slowly. It wastes no energy. Its terrifying appearance is not for violence. It is for survival. In a world where meals are rare, anything that approaches must not escape. Every calorie matters. Every bite must count. Here, hunger shapes anatomy. You drift past it. It barely notices. There is no reason to chase what it cannot afford to lose energy pursuing. Further on, a faint glow appears. Not blue, not green, but red. The stoplight loosejaw, one of the only creatures in the deep ocean that produces red bioluminescence. Red light does not travel far in water. Most deep-sea creatures cannot see it, so this fish uses it as a private flashlight, an invisible beam to spot prey that believes itself hidden. Its lower jaw hinges open impossibly wide. Teeth curve backward like needles. It floats, waits, and vanishes again into the dark. Here, light is not for beauty. It is for advantage. It is for deception. It is for survival. The pressure continues to increase. Every 100 meters adds another atmosphere of weight. At 4,000 meters, the pressure reaches 400 times surface levels. Water feels more like a solid than a liquid. And yet, life continues to adapt. Cells compress. Proteins fold differently. Membranes become flexible. Everything living here is shaped by force beyond human imagination. You drift onward. Minutes pass, or hours. Time loses meaning. Then something enormous appears below. A dark mass resting on the sea floor. A whale fall. The body of a dead whale that has sunk from the surface. An entire ecosystem condensed into a single event. For decades, sometimes longer, this carcass will feed countless organisms. Sharks will have stripped the flesh. Worms will bore into the bones. Bacteria will convert fats into chemical energy. Clams, crabs, brittle stars, and fish will gather. An oasis in the middle of the abyss. In a world where food falls from the sky in dust-sized flakes, this is a banquet. This is abundance. This is temporary civilization. And when it is gone, the emptiness returns. You drift away from the whale fall, back into open water, back into silence. The scale becomes overwhelming. This zone alone holds more water than all the rivers on Earth combined. More volume than most continents. A darkness so large that it humbles every attempt to visualize it. Movement becomes rare again. Only the slow fall of marine snow. only the occasional distant glow, only the feeling of endless depth below. And then, the bottom begins to appear. Not a cliff, not a ridge, but a soft, endless slope. You are approaching the abyssal floor, the great plains of the deep ocean, the next layer of descent. You reach the bottom, not suddenly, not dramatically, but gently, as if the ocean itself is easing you into stillness. The abyssal plains stretch outward in all directions, flat, endless, unbroken. A desert made of sediment, fine, pale mud formed from the remains of microscopic organisms that lived and died far above. Layer upon layer, year after year, millennium after millennium. Here, time is measured in dust. The pressure is now 500 times greater than at the surface. The temperature hovers just above freezing, and the water is perfectly still. No waves, no currents, no storms. Nothing disturbs this place, except the slow fall of marine snow. A soft, constant drizzle of organic particles, the only regular motion in this entire world. Something stirs in the sediment. A small, translucent creature lifts itself from the sea floor. A sea pig, a type of sea cucumber. It walks, using tiny tube feet, slowly, deliberately. It moves across the mud, collecting detritus, feeding on whatever nutrients the ocean delivers. It looks almost unreal, soft, fragile, and yet it survives under pressures that would crush steel. Nearby, a forest appears, not of trees, but of glass. Glass sponges, delicate, lattice-like structures made of silica. Some of them are hundreds, even thousands of years old. They grow so slowly that a single centimeter may take decades. They filter water, silently, patiently. Their skeletons shimmer faintly in the darkness. They are among the longest-lived animals on Earth, living monuments to stillness. You drift onward, across kilometers of uninterrupted plain. Then, something massive comes into view. A single-celled organism, larger than a human hand. A xenophyophore, the largest known single cells on the planet. They build elaborate shells from sediment. They trap particles. They host smaller organisms inside their structures. In this place of scarcity, even a single cell becomes an ecosystem. The seafloor is dotted with small, dark stones, manganese nodules, metal-rich concretions that grow at rates measured in millimeters per million years. Some of them have been forming since before the first dinosaurs walked on land. Each one a geological clock. Each one a record of patience beyond comprehension. Nothing here is in a hurry. Everything here exists on timescales that dwarf civilizations. You continue drifting. The sediment below you puffs gently with each imagined movement. The water feels thick, heavy, quiet. Every sound you imagine feels out of place. There are no predators chasing prey, no sudden movements, no violence, only persistence, only endurance, only life adapted to almost nothing. A brittle star unfurls its arms across the mud, slowly,
as if testing gravity itself. A small fish passes overhead, barely moving its fins. Every action here is measured. Every movement is minimized. Energy is precious. Time is abundant.
The Abyssal Plains extend farther than any desert on land. They cover more of Earth's surface than all continents combined, and most of them have never been seen by human eyes. This is the planet's largest habitat, and its quietest. You drift deeper still, toward regions where the sea floor begins to slope again, toward places where chemical energy replaces sunlight, toward life that no longer depends on the sky at all. The descent continues into deeper abyssal darkness. The endless flat plains soften behind you. The sea floor begins to slope again, almost too gently to notice. The water grows heavier, denser, colder. The darkness feels deeper, more complete. 5,000 meters below the surface, the abyssal world changes quietly. The sediment beneath you becomes firmer, more compact, less powdery. The water carries a faint trace of something unfamiliar. Not a smell, not exactly, just a subtle presence. A hint of chemistry dissolved into the cold. This is the deep abyssal zone, a place where sunlight has never reached, a place where life does not depend on light at all. You drift closer to the sea floor. The darkness remains absolute. No glows, no flashes, only black and stillness. Then, slowly, shapes rise from the sediment. Tall, pale, soft. They look like quiet columns. These are tube worms. Some grow taller than a human. They have no mouths, no stomachs, no digestive systems. They do not eat in the way surface creatures do. Inside their bodies live bacteria. These bacteria use chemicals seeping from the earth. Hydrogen sulfide, methane, other compounds rising from deep beneath the sea floor. They turn these chemicals into energy, into food. The tube worms live entirely on this process. They do not need sunlight. They do not need falling debris from above. They exist in a closed loop of chemistry, a quiet ecosystem powered from below. The tube worms sway gently, not from current, but from your slow movement through the water. They do not react. They simply remain, enduring. The water feels colder here, almost constant, near freezing. The pressure presses inward again, another quiet tightening. Around the tube worms, the sediment looks darker, stained by minerals. This is a cold seep, a place where chemicals slowly leak from the sea floor. Not hot, not violent, just a slow release, a steady flow. It has been happening for thousands of years, for millions of years, longer than any human timeline. Life gathers here, drawn to the chemistry. You drift past a cluster of clams. Their shells are thick, heavy, white. They sit half buried in the sediment. They do not filter plankton. They do not depend on sunlight. Inside their bodies live bacteria, chemosynthetic bacteria. They turn chemicals into energy. The clams live slowly. Their metabolism is low. Their growth is slow. Their lives are long. They remain anchored to the seep, feeding on chemistry, enduring in darkness. The water carries faint chemical traces, invisible, silent, but present. A quiet reminder that something unseen is happening here, beneath the sediment, within the earth. You drift onward. The seafloor becomes uneven. Small ridges, tiny cracks, places where fluids seep upward. The darkness remains complete. The silence remains unbroken. A thin shape moves across the sediment, segmented, slow. This is a polychaete worm. It processes sediment, digesting organic matter, breaking down particles, recycling nutrients. It moves slowly, then stops, then moves again. Every motion is measured. Energy is precious here. Nothing is wasted. The polychaete disappears into the sediment. The abyss remains quiet, still, enduring. You drift forward. The cold feels stable, unchanging. There are no seasons here, no cycles of warmth, only constant near-freezing water. The pressure presses inward again, another subtle squeeze. You feel the weight of kilometers of ocean above you, holding everything in place. Nothing rises quickly here. Nothing moves fast. Everything settles. Everything endures. Ahead, a faint shape spreads across the sediment, like a slow star, with long, thin arms. This is a brittle star. It lies flat against the sea floor, its arms extended, collecting tiny particles drifting past. It feeds quietly, patiently. The brittle star does not move much. It waits and waits. Particles eventually arrive. Marine snow, chemical traces, organic fragments. Everything that falls eventually reaches here. The brittle star remains, feeding slowly, enduring. You drift past. The darkness remains absolute. The water carries faint chemical signatures, unseen, silent, but alive. Another cluster of tube worms appears. Larger, denser, their pale bodies form a soft forest rising from the sediment. They sway gently, not from current, but from your slow passage. Their bacteria continue their silent work, turning chemistry into life. This kind of ecosystem does not depend on the sun. It does not follow surface rhythms. It is powered by Earth itself, from within. This kind of life resembles some of the earliest life on Earth, before photosynthesis, before oxygen filled the air, before sunlight shaped ecosystems. Life began with chemistry, with minerals, with slow reactions. Quiet, persistent. You drift closer. The tube worms remain. The clams remain. The polychaetes remain. The brittle stars remain. All of it feels ancient, timeless, as if this scene could exist unchanged for millions of years. And often, it does. The pressure increases again. Another quiet tightening. The water remains cold, stable. The darkness remains complete. The cold seeps fade behind you. The chemical traces grow fainter. Life becomes more sparse, more scattered. The abyss deepens. You drift onward, toward places even less explored, toward depths where pressure becomes even more extreme, where isolation becomes even more complete. The seafloor slopes more sharply now. The abyss fades behind you. The world narrows. 6,000 meters below the surface, the walls begin to rise on either side. Steep, dark, endless. This is the beginning of a Abyssal Trench, a long, narrow opening in the Earth's crust. You drift forward. The pressure increases again. Another quiet tightening. The water is near freezing, constant, unchanging. The darkness is absolute. No glows, no flashes, only black and silence. This is one of the least explored places on Earth. Fewer humans have been here than have walked on the moon. The Mariana Trench lies ahead, nearly 11,000 meters below the surface, almost 7 miles down. A place so deep that Mount Everest could fit inside it, with room to spare. You drift deeper. The walls feel closer. The trench narrows. The pressure becomes extreme. Nothing here can contain air. Nothing here can remain hollow. Everything is built to endure. Everything is compressed. Everything is slow. A faint shape appears ahead. Small, pale, almost transparent. This is a Hadal snailfish, one of the deepest living vertebrates on Earth. Its body is soft, gelatinous, without rigid bones. It does not swim quickly. It drifts. It hovers just above the seafloor. Its body is adapted to pressure. It would collapse instantly at the surface. It belongs only here. The snailfish moves slowly, then stops, then moves again. Energy is precious here. Every motion is minimal. The snailfish fades into the darkness. The trench remains silent. A small shape crawls across the sea-floor, pale, insect-like, with long legs. This is an amphipod, a deep-sea scavenger. It feeds on anything that falls into the trench. A dead fish, a fragment of organic matter, even a whale that sinks to these depths. The amphipod moves slowly, then stops, then moves again. The trenches are collectors. Everything eventually falls here. The amphipod disappears into the sediment. The pressure increases again. Another subtle squeeze. The walls grow steeper. The darkness remains unbroken. A faint film coats the rocks. Invisible, but alive. These are piezophilic bacteria. They require pressure to survive. They cannot live at the surface. They only exist in extreme depths. They feed on minerals, on chemicals, on traces of organic matter. They form the base of a hidden ecosystem, life that depends on pressure itself. You drift past the rocks. The bacteria remain, silent, unseen, enduring. The trench opens into a deeper basin, the deepest floor, the bottom of the ocean, the deepest known place on Earth, the Mariana Trench, nearly 11,000 meters down. The weight of the ocean above is unimaginable, enough to crush steel, enough to collapse submarines. And yet, life exists here, quietly, patiently, enduring. The seafloor is flat here, soft sediment, scattered rocks, fragments of crust. Another amphipod rests on the sediment. It moves slowly, then stops, then moves again. Life here is sparse, thinly distributed across immense darkness. The stillness feels complete. This place is isolated, separated from the surface by nearly 11 kilometers of water. No sunlight, no warmth, no seasons.
only constant cold, constant pressure. And yet, this is still part of the same ocean. The same water that touches shores, the same water that forms waves, the same water that fills clouds, the same water that falls as rain, the same water that flows through rivers, the same water that moves through your body. Over 95% of the ocean is still unexplored, unmapped, unseen, unknown. Most of Earth's living space lies in darkness, hidden beneath waves, hidden beneath kilometers of water. The deepest places are not separate from the surface. They are part of the same system, the same water, the same cycles, the same planet. The ocean circulates slowly, across centuries, across millennia. Deep currents rise, surface waters sink, mixing layers, connecting depths. Nothing here is truly separate. You drift gently upward in thought. The trench remains beneath you. The abyss remains above you. Every layer, every depth, every current, every drop of water. The ocean is one continuous body. From sunlight to darkness, from warmth to cold, from surface to trench. You have touched the deepest places now, the most isolated regions on Earth, the most hidden habitats, the most enduring systems. The descent is complete, and the ocean remains. Quiet, patient, unchanging, waiting. Having touched the deepest places, now rising gently in thought. Value/twist, the quiet realization. You have touched the deepest places, not with your body, not with instruments, but with awareness. You have followed the water downward, through fading light, through cold silence, through pressure beyond any surface experience, through worlds that do not hurry, worlds that do not speak, worlds that do not notice whether they are observed. And now, there is nowhere deeper to go, only something broader to understand. The deep ocean is not a fringe of the planet. It is not an edge. It is not a hidden exception. It is Earth's largest living space, the most stable environment on the planet. It has remained cold and dark for hundreds of millions of years, while continents drifted, while ice ages came and went, while species rose and vanished, while mountains formed and eroded away. Down here, the temperature barely changed, the chemistry barely shifted, the rhythm barely wavered. This quiet stability is not dramatic, it is not visible, it does not announce itself, but it is one of the reasons life survived long enough to become complex at all. When the surface froze, when meteorites struck, when oxygen vanished from the air, life endured in the deep, waiting, persisting, holding continuity. The ocean has never stopped being alive, not once, for over 3.5 billion years. Before forests, before dinosaurs, before bones, before eyes, before brains, there were oceans, and in them there was chemistry slowly learning how to become biology. There was energy flowing without sunlight. There were membranes forming. There were reactions stabilizing. There was life beginning in silence. And nothing here has ever truly ended, only changed form, only rearranged.
only drifted into new patterns. The water around you now is not new water. It has fallen as rain. It has frozen as ice. It has flowed as rivers. It has evaporated into clouds. It has sunk into trenches. It has risen in currents. It has passed through coral, through plankton, through whales, through ancient bacteria, through human bodies. The same molecules, the same hydrogen, the same oxygen, the same salts, the same dissolved minerals, the same slow circulation. The water in your body once drifted through the deep sea, and it will return there again, long after you are gone, long after cities are gone, long after languages are gone, long after memory itself has faded. The calcium in your bones, once dissolved from ancient seas, the iron in your blood, was formed in stars that exploded long before Earth existed. The sodium in your nerves once drifted in prehistoric oceans. Nothing in you is separate from this world below. Not in chemistry, not in physics, not in time. You are not an observer of the ocean. You are an expression of it. Reshaped, temporarily organized, given a voice and a name, but made of the same continuity, the same matter, the same slow cycles. The deep ocean does not rush. It does not worry. It does not compete. It does not fear. It absorbs disturbance. It holds memory. It waits and continues. The vastness you felt descending, the silence that surrounded you, the pressure that shaped everything living there, these are not alien forces. They are the same forces shaping you now, just expressed more gently at the surface. Gravity, time, energy flow, adaptation, stillness. Even now, as you breathe, your body is doing what deep sea life does, minimizing waste, balancing pressure, preserving energy, maintaining internal stability, persisting quietly, without asking for attention, without demanding control. The ocean does not need to be conquered. It does not need to be understood completely. It does not need to be visited. It is already with you, in every cell, in every breath. In every quiet moment, your thoughts slow down. The strangeness you felt, the awe you felt, the humility you felt. These are not reactions to something foreign. They are recognition. Recognition of scale, recognition of continuity, recognition of belonging. You did not descend into another world. You remembered a deeper layer of your own. And nothing here is hostile. Nothing here is judging. Nothing here is expecting anything from you. The deep ocean does not demand productivity. It does not reward urgency. It does not measure worth. It simply exists and continues and holds space and offers stability through change, the same way you can, the same way you already do. You are not small in a meaningless universe. You are part of a system that has been alive longer than any story. You are carried by processes that do not collapse when attention fades. You are supported by continuity that does not depend on effort. The depths remain, whether you think about them or not, whether you name them or not.
whether you remember them or not. And so can your calm, and so can your rest, and so can your sense of being held by something larger than your thoughts. The ocean does not ask you to understand it. It only invites you to notice that you are already inside it. In form, in matter, in time, in continuity. Nothing about your existence is separate from this blue world. You are not visiting it. You are it, briefly arranged into a listener, and gently returning to quiet.